What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Dave B, and you're watching Dave B on TV, where we go beyond the everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. And today I want to talk about the gift of the come up, right? Because, when it comes to, I already know if you on this channel and shit like that, shout out to the musicians who watch me, shout out to the content creators, whatever you make, whatever you create, even entrepreneurs, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you out here taking your imagination, your creativity, and trying to make sense out of that so that you can market it and make a living off of the shit that came inside of you. You know what I'm saying? I got love, I got all kinds of respect, and I got just appreciation for you existing because, like, on some real shit, like, this is just what I chose to do with my spirit, and you know, we do a lot of us, you know what I'm saying, when you doing it the right way, and there ain't no right or wrong, but there is a way to go about things, right? We all do it in our own individual way, but a lot of us do this shit because we have to. It's not something. It's not us putting on an act. It's not us trying to just do this to make money. Like, the money and shit like that is more like a plus, a bonus. We do this shit because it's in our heart. It's something that we were called to do, that was going on long before we created this body. So when we in the booth, or when we in front of our pencils and our paintbrush, or whatever you use to create your art, whatever medium you choose, we do this shit. This shit comes from a different kind of place. This is why we built different. This is why we put shit out different. This is why our minds work differently than other people when they be trying to do whatever they doing, and they be on some weak shit that we done seen already before. This is for the innovators and shit like that. People who are literally out here paving a way for themselves, not following in footsteps that other people laid out that felt comfortable or felt safe. You know what I'm saying? We like to be in this kind of game, like on some real shit, to do this kind of shit, to really be a musician, to really be a content creator, like on some real shit, like an artist. It takes a certain level of just strength from inside, because what like, when we start talking about art, art is like a universal language. You know what I'm saying? Now, this doesn't mean everybody's going to get it. You know what I'm saying? But people who appreciate art, right, they can at least appreciate it, and it affects them. You know what I'm saying? It touches you in an emotional space. And when we start talking about communication and shit like that, communicating from an emotional space and shit like that, connecting with people and exchanging ideas, and just when people admire your art, and when people can connect and resonate with your art, that type of connection is different than when we talk about communication, and when we talk about regular connection. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see my dog popped in and shit like that. But that's a different kind of communication, and like, I didn't understand it until I really started making music. When we talk about the you know when we talk about currency and shit like that, but not like money. I'm talking about when you create something and then there's a demand for it, when there's somebody out there who connects to it and reacts and responds to it. Like, there's a underlying connection, or there's an underlying exchange of energy going on that's like way deeper than just regular communication. Like, if you was trying to spread a message just with regular speaking, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a different kind of connection being made when someone actually appreciates your art, and just when you are creating things, and then there's people around you who also support it and resonate with it, feel with it, interact with it. Like, I can't explain that. Like, but if you're a musician or a content creator, you already know what I'm talking about. Like, that shit, we do what we do more so for that. You know what I'm saying? And to change the world by just giving all of ourselves to whatever canvas that we choose to use, or whatever medium we choose to express ourselves through. So, the issue though comes in when we start adding all this physical shit. And when I say issue, I'm not trying to paint this shit out to be evil, and you know what I'm saying, because that's a misconception. I know a lot of people do, especially when we talk about spirituality. Some people feel like in order to be spiritual, you got to throw away all your worldly possessions. You got to be some kind of monk. You can't do normal human shit or whatever. It's like, nah, we here with this kind of body for a reason, to experience. And so, people will make the argument that certain things kill you faster, but you got to realize death is inevitable. You ain't running from shit. And the more you try to attach to this body anyway, You could try to be a health nut, but and like at the same time, within the same breath, like the point is you just gotta live how you gotta live. Like live how you wanna live and let other people live how they gonna live. Because it's really none of your business. It's really none of your responsibility. And when it comes down to it, you know what I'm saying, you don't need to be so concerned about all that shit. You know what I'm saying? When it really comes down to it, it's like being too concerned and wrapped up into that shit, you miss out on all the opportunities that's here for you to do what you gotta do, right? So, you know, but when we start adding accolades and we start trying to make these creative arts and businesses, these creative arts, we try to make these our businesses. See, then there's another element introduced to just doing your art. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we would consider, if you're a musician, the music business, or if you're an artist, how do you sell your art or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Whatever artistic thing you do, whatever you create, because creating something and marketing it is two different processes. Truthfully, I look at it like this, right? When you get an idea and shit like that, this is like that. The you know what I'm saying? This is like the birth stage, right? So in the birth stage, everything's cute. You know what I'm saying? It's like a baby, for real. It's like everything's cute. You know what I'm saying? It's the idea of something. You get to dream about it. You get to snuggle up with it. You get to, you know, even if a lot of times this be the thing that we just imagining in our head. It'd be the idea. So it'd be, we can slap on all kinds of crazy images with it. You know what I'm saying? And we can coddle it, and we can keep it protected, keep it safe. It doesn't have to be out in the world all that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just like if you think of the seasons in general, it'd be like spring. Spring, it's like so everything's beautiful outside. The weather is perfect. We want to be outside and just everybody wants to keep things lighthearted. We want to call up people that we lost connection with, and we want to rekindle that. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. All those vibes come with the springtime, right? And then the summertime happens. So this is when you putting into life. So you know that idea, you've planted it, and now it's starting to sprout. You're like, oh shit, like I'm proud of that shit. Like you having fun with it. You get to see it now. You know what I'm saying? You see it coming down for you. So in the creative process, right? This is still the creation process. This is when you like, okay, you working, you putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? You giving light to that seed, you giving water to that seed, you building that seed up, right? You know what I'm saying? You in the creation process. So this is where the physical work gets done. And then it's the fall season, right? So the fall season would be like you making those final preparations before you drop it. But see, a shift happens, right? So that shift, that's when you start to hit over to what I was speaking about with the business aspect of whatever, because it's almost like your business, right? It's an ecosystem, right? It's a cycle. It's like, and what I mean by ecosystem is like there's different things that keep that business running, but they're all necessary and they all happen in a cycle and they all take place, seemingly simultaneously, right? So, the ecosystem of your business is like how you've chosen to construct your business, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's a different conversation. Right now, we're going to stick with what I was talking about, where now in the fall season, right? Um, the fall season is when we're trying to figure out how to market this thing. So now it's like editing. So we're cutting all the excess fat out. You know what I'm saying? We're getting to the what is actually going to be the core of what we're trying to like what we created. What are we trying to put out? How are we going to market it? How are we going to start this conversation amongst the people who know us and the people who don't know us? You know what I'm saying? So this is going into a different territory, and this is where things get scary because this is where you can start getting nervous. You know what I'm saying? And like it's like you start getting nervous because you start to overanalyze certain things that you couldn't plan out, you know what I'm saying, during the creation process. Like, in order to create fluidly, you need to be in a space where you can be free enough to dream of the undreamable, to dream about the to dream. You have to dream in general. You have to be free enough to allow yourself to pull things from the ethers and the imagination that you've created, right? So that has to take place. And then it goes into the more practical aspects. So this is the fall season that I'm just talking about now. And so in the fall season, you know, it always gets different. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of decisions have to be made, right? And I'm a type of person where I don't like to compromise art for the sake of marketability, because truthfully, I believe that by trying to fit yourself into a market, you do yourself a disjustice. At the same time, in order to make yourself profitable, you have to understand what market you would hit. But it's kind of like a balance thing where you're looking at a market and you're understanding the dynamics of that market, aka what people are looking for who like that similar thing, what people are looking for. And then you got to kind of take it back into your own hands and say, well, any attention or traction I want to build from being in this market, I gotta be an individual wholeheartedly in there, or I have to present some kind of new element that no one can't get anywhere else but from me. And the only way you tap into that is by tapping into your own individuality, how you see that thing that you're involved in. You know what I'm saying? The industry that you're in. The industry doesn't define what you do. And that's the thing about artists, and when we're mixing our art with business, you don't gotta conform yourself to the industry necessarily. Like you don't, yeah, like you don't have to conform yourself to the industry. Like whether you choose to go the legitimate route and go, you know what I'm saying, try to climb certain ladders and things of that nature and try to be mainstream, because ain't nothing wrong with trying to be mainstream, but understand that with that mainstream, you as a individual, you have the power to put out your energy in a way to where you make people rethink what should be mainstream. And this is what I mean about innovation and shit like that. It's like not so much that you have to completely neglect popular music, or you have to completely go against the grain and you know what I'm saying? Some people piss away their careers trying to be too different or trying to be too rebellion. But sometimes it's not even so much a matter of rebellion. A lot of times it's just a matter of you standing on your own 2 feet and saying, well, this is how I want to do this. And it's not, because when you put yourself in a rebellious state of being, you come off in a way that where people might not want to give you satisfaction, or they might not want to give it to you. They might, because of how maybe, say you might have gone through so many experiences where you had to kind of really defend yourself, and so you kind of develop this thing where you're like, well, people not gonna like me anyway, even though that like ain't nothing wrong with that mindset, but you might develop a certain way about you where it's like you rather, you rather get there and light everything on fire before people try to, call you out. Like you might try to blow up the spot before they even get a chance to judge you or something like that. And so, it's like, like I said in the beginning, you got to do things how you want to do them, like at the end of the day. But at the same time, it's like you don't got to burn bridges in order to, make a name for yourself. You ain't got to go so hard against, you don't have to go against anything. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, you might develop certain thought patterns and thought processes that make you feel like it's like you feel like it's you against the world, right? And so while sometimes we be in situations like that where it feel like that and it really be like that, like what I'm saying, us against the world. But it's like you got to understand that these things, like, we can use certain thought forms and feelings to get us through certain periods in our life, but we sometimes make the mistake of carrying those on further than they need to be carried. So you might be going around being like, yeah, it's me against the world, fuck everything. Yeah, I'm going against the grain every time, right? But somewhere down the line, that might not be a sufficient emotional state and mindset for you to be in order to continue your career. So you might stagnate yourself. You know what I'm saying? You might stagnate yourself and keep yourself in a situation or a position that you like, damn, why can't I go forward? And then, we get comfortable in these mindsets and these feelings and emotions. So we start to develop things like, well, I can't get forward because it really is like this, how I feel, X, Y, and Z and shit like that. And sometimes it just it be time to change up how we feel. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it just straight up be time to change up how we feel about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just something to keep in mind. But I kind of got off track. But what I was saying is, going back to the fall season. So, this is where, and I guess it was all relevant too, because this is where we start making certain decisions that go against what we truly feel for the sake of trying to be more profitable or more marketable. You know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. But when it comes to marketability, individuality is always going to get you attention. Um, but it's all about how you present it. You know what I'm saying? And this is like, understanding your own energy, understanding how you come off and things of that nature. But that, like I said, that's a different conversation too. Um, but going back in, so the fall season is the preparation for the release, and then finally the you release, and that be the winter time or death. And what death is transformation. So it's leaving your hands and your mind, your whatever, and going into the hands of others. But it's no longer yours now. It's no longer yours. You have to let it go. You know what I'm saying? You have to let it go. And boom. And you have to live with that. A lot of people drop projects and they change certain things for certain reasons, right? That weren't maybe not true to themselves. They changed up the, whatever they had to change up, and they put it out in the world. And now that it's in the world, being ridiculed, going through transformation, they want to hold on tightly to that, right? And it works two ways, with the fans and with the actual artists. With the artists, if they hold on too tightly, it might scar them for their next project, so they start making decisions for the next project based on negative things that went wrong, or even things that went right in the last project, right? But I still feel like when you release something, you got to let that go. You got to move on. You got to expand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then on the fan tip, it'd be the fans that be like, oh, we missed the old version of you. Oh, we missed the old this, that, and the third. And see, this is the other thing I wanted to talk about too, is like, when you doing your thing, you can't even do things for your fans. And this is not saying, and I hate using the term fans. Like, I don't really like care about that word. Like, I don't like that word because it makes you feel like you want some kind of pedestal and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I get it, for lack of better words. You know what I'm saying? But because me personally, I don't look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? These are like the people who resonate with me. Like, we family at that point. It's like, you love what I bring to the table. I love the energy y'all bring to the table too. And eventually, you know what I'm saying, like, the kind of things I want to do with my career are different. Like, the way I do, shows is gonna be different. The way I even interact, it's like, I don't wanna say too much about that yet. But yeah, y'all will see. But you know what I'm saying. But just getting back on point, it's like, when you're in these positions, you cannot change the way you start to express yourself based upon the people who are watching you. Because at the same time, and it's like, you got to see it like this. It's like, the reasons they come up with of why they like you, a lot of times don't have as much to do with, like, it has to do with the shit that you create, but it's more about your energy and your aura too. Like, that's why we even gravitate to certain artists and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Because we all have those artists that we found with nobody to lead us to. They just was like might have been a recommended video on YouTube or something like that, and all of a sudden, oh, we're on their page, and we're siphoning through millions of their tracks, and we're like, holy shit, what is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it becomes our new favorite artist. But a lot of times we fall in love with these artists not because of, it's like, yeah, the music or the art that they make is phenomenal, right? So we really enjoy it, but there's something beneath the art that we connect to, that we go, well, damn, like, I want to know everything to know about this individual. And like, it sometimes it don't be that blatant. Like, it don't be like, this is like going on subconsciously, and I'm putting words to certain feelings and spaces that really don't even have words. This is like internal shit that we be feeling. We don't in our heads be saying like, oh, I like this person because there's something beyond. Nah, it's not like that. Like, you hear the song, you're like, no, I like the song, but it's like, it's more of a question of, or just understanding how you can become someone's favorite artist as well. It's about the authenticity. How genuine are you in your art? And a lot of people don't create things from a space where they're being honest, or they don't know themselves enough to even to even like to even like I don't know, they don't know themselves enough to even, you know, present themselves in a way where it's like it hits like that. You know what I'm saying? People be wondering like what's the secret to, you know, because it's like we all kind of in our heads, even if you are on some shit where you're like, man, fuck trying to be in the mainstream, or you know what I'm saying, I just want to make music. We all kind of in our head, you know what I'm saying, track our progress. Because we all have different goals of what we're trying to do with this music shit or this artistic shit, content creation, things of that nature. And I realize I use music a lot of times for my um, analogies and things of that nature, and for my examples and shit like that. Um, you know, but that's just because music is like a really common. You know what I'm saying? Music is a universal language. Um, you know, other forms of content are too, but you know, music is just, you know what I'm saying? Music is just special. But, you know, getting back on point, it's just like, you know, so you gotta, it's the authenticity, it's the genuineness of the person providing the art that really actually determines if an individual is gonna make it or not. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say make it because, you know, you gotta feel like you made it already. You know what I'm saying? On some real shit. But it's like the authenticity of who's delivering the art that determines the not only the quality of fans that you'll have, or you know what I'm saying, and like the quality of people who are attracted to your shit. Real shit. Like you might have 1,000,001 followers or plays or whatever, but like are these people who rock with you? Are these people who gonna purchase your merch? Are these, you know what I'm saying? Like 10 good solid people who come around and listen to your music and like actually buy into whatever it is that you kicking or whatever it is. Those are stronger than having a whole lot of plays and shit like that, because we start talking about um you know, it's a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's more like the business conversation and things of that nature. But I want to keep this centered on that and not go too far in any of those directions yet. But continuing on, so you know, the gift of the come up, like the gift of the come up is this, like you have the opportunity and like to write your own story at that point, and that's really what we all trying to do here on this planet. Like, you know, the things that we here to do, you already know I say it all the time. We're here to experience, we're here to relate, connect, grow, expand. We're here to enjoy, exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things we're here to do. But we also here to, like, write our own history. 9 times out of 10, you create art because you have something to say, and what you have to say is it needs to be, you feel as though it needs to be remembered. You know, like we even have kids for this reason. We have kids because we want to carry on our legacy or whatever, but we expect our kids to represent us and continue the oral tradition of our being. So when we create art, when we put things out in the world, you know, a lot of people do it just for fun. But even the ones who do it just for fun, they it's like they wanted to. That's what they wanted to express and wanted to stay in the test of time. Me having fun, you know what I'm saying? That's why you can't even, you know, it's like everyone's speaking their own language. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like when I hear certain music, I don't disregard it. You know, even if I don't feel it the first time, like I'd be like, this is what that spirit had to say, and that's how they felt like they had to say it. But the point is just saying we all trying to write our own story here. So you know, with your art and shit like that, or about to come up, because like I said, we all in our mind track our progress, and the times where we're at that ground level, when we got a handful of people who might rock with us, but we know we got so much further to go to, because we all got our own individual goal and vision of what we see for our career. So we all on our own journeys. And the journey, the spiritual path ain't too different than, well, it is different than the career path. But like, you know, on this channel, we try to make your spiritual path work with your career path. We try to, you know what I'm saying, especially if you're doing some entrepreneurship, we try to help that marriage work, right? But real shit, you know, so the come up is is, you know, it's dirty. It's the struggle. You know, shout out to J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? There's beauty in the struggle. Real shit. Because on some real shit, like the struggle is what what it's like spices. It's like spices on the dish. Like, you know, if your life was a fucking full course meal, it's like the spices. Like the struggle is what made things worth it. The struggle is even what gives you more content to expand on. The struggle is the experience, which leads to the wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, you can tell the difference between an artist who just bullshitting versus an artist who done been through something. And they're telling, and they're communicating with you, and they're giving you certain inspirations, and they're giving you certain feelings to help you get through whatever you getting through, you know? And this is why music is a universal language. You know what I'm saying? This is why music speaks loud. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can say a lot with a song, even if the song has no lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Just the beat, the instrumental, it speaks, it has a story. And these stories, this is like, as people, I feel like that's really what we are. We're storytellers. And this is why with business, I always tell people, with your brand is your story. As an artist, you are your brand. So you have to tell your story in the way you got to tell it. And that's the only way it's going to actually transcend. It's the only way you're going to transcend with it. And by transcend, I just mean moving forward, and you know what I'm saying? So the gift of the come up is like, you get to build, and through that story, you going through real shit. So when you look at your struggle and your come up, and you appreciate it and you love it for what it is, you experience it. You settle in it. You take it all in, and you treat it appropriately. A lot of people neglect their struggle. They're like, ah, damn, I'm broke as fuck. I'm walking, you know what I'm saying? They walk around mad as fuck and everything. They judge people for not listening to their shit. They mad at people. They like throwing their mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the things, bro, I'll tell you this right real quick, right? I used to look, if you marketing your shit online and shit, and you on Twitter or anything, even on YouTube and shit like that, and you try to jump in someone else's video, right? And it's not like you contribute anything helpful to the conversation of the video or anything, or the tweet. You don't add nothing to it. You just drop your link and dip. Like, look, I don't hate on people's game, but I look at that as weak. I don't like that kind of marketing. I don't think that's very effective. I think that's very disrespectful, because you just inserting yourself in somebody else's shit, and you didn't even try to come up with a creative way to make it relevant. So if you are doing that, chill. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I don't hate on nobody game. If that's how you feel like you gotta get it, you can see how far you get with it. But I don't think you're gonna get that far with it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why. I just had to say that real quick, because like, it reminded me of some shit I done seen way back. But real shit, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I see that shit every day. But real shit, you know what I'm saying? So your brand is your story. But as beings down here, that's all we trying to do is tell stories, man. We like, beyond this body, right? This body, our spirit being no thing, that been through many experiences and many bodies and shit like that. And so we be trying to, this lifetime, sometimes we be trying to fit all that into this lifetime. Sometimes it's not meant for that. Sometimes we do got dreams that's beyond, that we might never see, because it's beyond this world. You know what I'm saying? But that's another conversation. Another conversation, you know? But real shit, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, you gotta really appreciate your come up. And the better you appreciate your come up, the easier things will manifest for you, as far as getting to that position that you've seen yourself in. Because it's like, it's all a mind thing. A lot of times we get psyched up because we compare our come up to the achievements of all the people we see doing what we want to do, or doing what we doing. So if you trying to be a musician, you probably 9 times out of 10 got a favorite artist who just bought a Lambo, or just bought, got, you know what I'm saying, just bought hella shit, just bought a bunch of shit that made you say, damn, I want that. But you gotta be careful with wants and needs, because you're not gonna get that shit regardless. You only gonna get what you deserve. So of course, putting the work in is important, but beyond putting the work in, you don't want to burn out. Like, it's not always about grinding yourself to nothing. It's about balancing and understand when it's time to press the go button, and when it's time to maybe hit the yellow light and slow down for a second, sit back, maybe recuperate, and then jump back in. You know, it's the come up. You got to understand that this thing is this is a journey. It's a journey. especially if you're trying to build some real shit. Now, if you just want to, quick buzz and shit like that, yeah, you can get that too. There's ways to get that too, and ain't nothing wrong with that. It's cool. Get your money, man. Get your money. Get your money. Like, I don't even want to make it seem like it's, like this spiritual shit is not all about, um, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no right or wrong to this shit. So, like, like we here to enjoy the things that are here. But sometimes we go too far with it. And sometimes our desire for these things ruin and fuck us up psychologically. And that's really what I be talking about, where it's like, it's no right or wrong, but having certain things on your mind will put you in certain positions where you might, it's going to stress you out. And being in a stressful, it's going to stress you out, and it's going to it's gonna lead you in a direction that you have to go through a lot of more bullshit in order to just get the thing that you could have got with little to no stress and negative connotations to it, or you know what I'm saying, mistakes in that area. You know what I'm saying? Because we make a lot of mistakes when it comes to our wants and needs. We make a lot of mistakes when it comes to the things we feel like we desire. You know what I'm saying? We make a fuck ton of mistakes. And so, yeah, appreciate your come up. So to give it a come up, like, that's your chance. Like, this is your chance, because people who already are born into certain things and already have it, 9 times out of 10, that represents something in their life that they have to detach from anyway. So consider that. You know what I'm saying? The people who already have the accolades and who are born into money or born into certain positions, chances are they're there to probably do less of that, because chances are they came into a body and they tired of that shit. Everyone thinks the grass is greener on the other side. You got to just appreciate what you're going through and make that shit the livest experience in the world. Make that shit the best shit in the world. And then what's going to happen is the way you feeling and expressing your light, not only are other people going to pick up on your story and be hit with your vibration and be like, oh yeah, if I fuck with that, you also going to attract other spirits who was in bodies trying to do the same thing you was doing, and they gonna provide you with certain feelings and emotions and insights to go certain directions to get you where you trying to go, aka your spirit guides and things of that nature. Like, that's when you start actually communicating with beings that actually can help you. You know what I'm saying? And it's different than just trying to follow the footsteps of somebody else. Oh, I need a mentor, I need this, that, and the third, and shit like that. When, at the end of the day, you're going to be like, well, damn, I might as well just have done what I was going to do anyway. I learned how, because, well, I ain't going to get into that too deeply. But, yeah, real shit, you know what I'm saying? Real shit. So, appreciate your come up. Take it one day at a time on some six house shit. You know what I'm saying? Take it one day at a time, and just appreciate that shit. Love that shit with all your heart, bro. Because this is your chance to tell your story. And everything that you go through, when you actually do finally get where you're going, it's gonna feel that much more better. And I said more better, but it's gonna feel that much more better. I'm telling you. And also, it builds the energy substance of what it means to be successful, of authenticity. And see, what authenticity does that nothing else, no other substance can do, it puts you in a position that you cannot be knocked off. You wonder why all these artists fall off. They fall off because sometimes what they were doing was not authentic to them. You can always do what's authentic to you. You can only really do forever what's authentic to you. You can always do what's authentic to you. You can't always do some shit that you had to do to get something else. You had to put on a fake smile to get something. You can't keep that fake smile on forever. You're going to get tired of smiling fakely. And I mean that, take that analogy and put it in different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't fake the funk. Even if you fake it to make it, yeah, you might make it, but you're going to lose it very soon. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're going to lose it about as quick as you made it. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how much work you put in. You know what I'm saying? So I think fake it to make it is a bad way to go about it. But, who am I to say what's bad or good? You know what I'm saying? Do what you do. But all I'm saying is, when you build a foundation off of authenticity, ain't nothing can fuck with you. Because not even the shit that other people say, because there's going to be enough people around you who know you, because you've been authentic. And authenticity is really lasts a lifetime. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you authentic, people remember you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like when I say this, I don't want to sound well, fuck it. I'm just gonna say it because I don't even think it's that bad. But I was just saying, like, people, like, I'd be surprised at how many people actually remember me after, you know what I'm saying, like, I meet them or some shit. Because, like, me, I mean, I'm not super social. Like, I stay in the house and shit like that. But when I do go out, like, I try to just be chilling. Like, I try to just be chilling. Like, I really don't try to do too much. You know what I'm saying? I have moments where I'm excited and shit like that. I'm hyped, and so I might come with some energy. But for the most part, like, if you know me, yeah, I like to just kind of kick it and just have a good time. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I used to feel like I didn't have enough qualities that made me, you know what I'm saying, that made me stand out and things like that. Like, but a lot of people remember me, and like I'll be surprised and shit like that. Like, wow, like, you know what I'm saying, like, even like people from high school, like, I might see them out, and they'll be like, yo, it's good, and I'm like, even when I was in high school, it was like sometimes people that I had seen around, and I didn't have any conversation with them, and so I wouldn't, know them, but they would be like, they would know me, like, yo, what's up, what's up? And I'd be like, in my head, I'd be like, where you know me from? Or like, and they'll tell me they met me on some random shit, or you know what I'm saying, just shit like that, and I used to wonder why, and it's cause I have a very, it's like when you authentic, your energy signature sticks. And like your energy signature is like, so when you come, it's like people automatically, like, even if they don't know your name, they get an image of your face and shit like that, and they just be like, oh, I know you, oh, hey, yo, what's up, you know what I'm saying? And like I was like, I wonder why my energy did that, and now I know why, because it's just when you authentic, it's like you go through certain experience, and it's like people just, they recognize that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when we're talking about trying to gain traction with your art and shit like that, like the only way, like the way to actually build that rapport and is the authenticity. And even, we see in brands today, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, I don't want to get too much onto that. I didn't even really mean to talk about myself like that. Like, like I don't mind it, but I don't like saying too much. You know what I'm saying? But real shit, you know what I'm saying? So appreciate the journey and do what you do, you know what I'm saying? Do what you do, but just keep it authentic. You know what I'm saying? Keep it authentic. The more authentic you can keep it, you do yourself more justice, and you it's like you carry credibility with you, and it's like it's different. It's a different kind of credibility. It's like an internal credibility where it's like it's not credibility as in you got a bunch of certificates and a bunch of, you know what I'm saying? It's like not like accolades and like how we look at credentials in the physical world, but it's like internal credentials where it's like your energy is backed and supported by something real. So people always recognize what you bring. You know what I'm saying? People always recognize you. Like real recognize real. That real recognize real comes from that substance of authenticity. Like if your energy signature is backed and supported by that authenticity or that genuine energy, that then it's backed and supported by some real shit. You know what I'm saying? And you can't deny that. But when people come around and they try to be real and they faking the funk, yeah, you might think they was real for a second, but it's like as time goes on, they gonna start slipping through the cracks because they can't keep up with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, peace out, man. Much love, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.